So Bernard, it ends as a 1-0 defeat. How do you assess that performance overall?
First and foremost, disappointed. It's a 9th league game without a win. It's concerning. The fact we haven't scored isn't like us. You know, we've been in there for 25 minutes and I don't think I've ever stood here and made excuses. But as a giant manager, when you're bottom of the league, you're constantly putting fires out, protecting individuals, protecting players, convincing people that they are good enough and eventually it'll come. There's only so long we can keep doing and saying that. We've worked so hard in training, Tuesday, Thursday, to try and execute what we worked towards this week today. We've lost, so that's not been the case. We've not executed that. It wasn't for a want for trying first half. 2 clear off the line, a couple of good chances. Great last ditch defending from Marine, which you've got to do when you're at the bottom, and you've got to do in any walk of life. But they wanted it. They didn't want that ball to go in the back of the net, and they did everything they could to keep the ball out, which they was rewarded with. For us, basics again, not tracking runners. 1 long ball into the box. Concede. It's said it. We're in 12 games and half a dozen times to see. We just fall on the wrong side. When people start to question desire, and determination, and heart, then you've got a problem. And if that's what people are now alluding to, then it's bigger than what we thought. Are we a bad side? No, you don't just go be a bad side overnight. As managers and coaches, we'll take some accountability in terms of changing the shape. We've been a back 3, we've been a back 4. These lads probably need continuity. You only get continuity by winning games of football, and you don't stick with the same side when you're losing. You have to find a way to try and win. We've done that today in abundance this week. But again, unfortunately, we've lost the game. And as football says, you've got to dust yourself down and you've got to go again. We've got to get to the bottom. Why we can't when we're used to winning games of football. Sometimes you can play bad and win. When you're used to winning, things fall on the right side for you. When you're at the bottom, you don't get that look. You have to earn that look. You have to work hard. And a certain somebody just questioned people's desire in there. And as a footballer, once that's the case, I would expect fireworks as a reaction. We ain't getting that reaction anymore. So a lot of thinking to do.
We're also hoping for the reaction in that second half, but do you feel that you saw any positives to take from that second half?
If I'm ever going to pay a massive compliment to a manager in Neil, is that once he finds himself in front, he's very, very good at not conceding, or should I say, he's working the opposition out. He's very, very good at. Now, people will sit there and say, well, the 4th, 5th bottom of the league, they're not that good at it. My respect for Neil is massive, and with John O, he's the same. The work he does away from football to beat the opposition, he'll spend hours and hours. He'll see that as a masterclass today, a 1-0 clean sheet. So he should, by the way. He stops us doing what we're good at. You have to hold your hand up and you have to pay him credit for that. And the minute we go 1-0 down against the wind, against the Neil Young side, it's always going to be tough. He works well. Whatever he does with that team, he sets them up right, and he has done today at home. And again, that's not me paying him credit because they've beat us 1-0 today. Marine are struggling. They're in a relegation battle with ourselves, but they found themselves with 2 wins more than we have, which makes him a better manager than we are at this minute in time, and Marine a better team than what we are. But everything that gets fired at us, we've got to stand up, take accountability, got to answer the right questions, try and be constructive moving forward, and find a way to start winning again.
How do you plan to respond then? What has to change in the imminent future?
What has to change? Well, we need to start winning games of football for a start. We need to stop conceding soft goals. We need to stop making mistakes. We need to grow in confidence as a group, and that's not just the players, that's the coaching staff, managers, people that surround ourselves with this group. The gaffer just asked a question there about what people low on confidence, and there's only 4 or 5 put their hand up. If you've not won in the league in 9 games, you shouldn't be full of confidence in any walk of life, and that's not, again, throwing a towel in and waving a white flag saying, oh, we're losing games of football because we're not confident. That's just because myself and Jono, in 16 years of managing, I've never been in a relegation battle, and we've got to roll our souls up. We've got to find a way of getting out of that relegation, and that's 2 wins on the bounce. And when you've not won in 9, that becomes a big ask. But we believe, and the people that support us believe, and the lads in there should believe, that this time last year we won 13 games or whatever it were. 12 months later, we've not won in 9. So, like I've alluded to before, you don't go a bad side overnight. We have made changes and we've got different personnel in place, which certain people might think aren't as good as what they were last year. We're in a higher league, playing against tougher opposition, playing against better players. It's been tough on paper to start with. You asked me the question, how does it get better? We've got to find a way to win. And with that breeds confidence. And with confidence, start to get to continuity of winning games of football, hopefully.
Hopefully we'll have a lot of the injured faces back as well. Obviously 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, Josh Hancock and a fair few others are on the injury list already. Are any of them nearing close?
Ollie will be in full training this week. Josh Hancock, we hope, will be in full training this week. We've seen 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 make his second substitution now, so you've got the skipper back in, you've got Richard Smith that was on the bench today. All of a sudden you've got your 17, 18, 19 man squad fully strength, which can only be a positive for us. And with that, people should be champing at the bit to keep the shirt. At this minute in time, we found a win at Warrington away. And again, I said it before about not making excuses. I think we needed that game against Buxton. In no certain terms, the game was cancelled for the reason it was. And again, I'm not using that as an excuse, but we sort of had that continuity after the Warrington game. Then we got the game cancelled. We had a bad loss last week, and again on paper today we've had another loss. So we'll do what we can do as managers and coaches this week. We'll work hard, if not harder than what we did last week. Try and put the wrongs right, and look forward to playing Warrington next week at home.
You briefly mentioned it there that we face up to Warrington Town next time out. Of course, we beat them previously 2-1. Just looking at that game a bit closer, do you think that there's areas that we can impact going into that one?
Massively, yeah. We obviously we're well aware that Warrington have got a new manager now, Cards. So again, a manager comes in and for whatever reason they seem to get that a little bit more out of the squad. We've seen it ourselves before. We've just got to do our due diligence on Warrington as we did in the first game. I don't think it was excellent against Warrington last time we played them. We made excuses about the grass being long and the pitch being dry, but we didn't lack desire. We found a way, and Jordan was rewarded with 2 good goals that game. We lacked that today. We lacked that desire to try and get at least a draw today, which pains me to say. It really does hurt me that, because we believe that's a great group in there, but at this minute in time they're not, and they're not. We're not winning games of football, but on to Warrington. Yeah, we've got to find a way to win, and we'll do everything in our will to do that.